Meet St. Tammany is designed for us to promote the business owners of St. Tammany Parish. And I love having conversation with people who are inspirational. And these two young people are truly that. New York Life insurance agents, but also helping people manage their money and grow their portfolio so that they can accomplish what they want in their life, especially business owners. And if you're looking for somebody who's young that'll be able to grow with you in your career, that know and have a lot of knowledge for the young people in their profession, tune into this episode of Meet St. Tammany. All right, guys, welcome to our Meet St. Tammany podcast. Today we have some friends that we met at our event recently at the New Orleans Entrepreneur Week, and they're two financial advisors and insurance agents at New York Life, right? And today we're going to talk a little bit about how they help business owners grow and hopefully learn more about them and their family so they can connect with more people. So welcome to the show. Why don't you start with saying your name and what y'all do and how long you've been doing it?
Right, so my name is Kevin Ziebarth, financial advisor at New York Life. I've been doing this for 2 years now, going on.
Yeah. Nice.
Software developer before this, and realized that I wanted some different opportunities, so jump ship.
Very cool.
Yeah, and I'm Gabriela. We're married couple duo. I've been there same time we started, and like I said, we help small businesses turn their lifelong project into something their family can actually rely on. And what does that mean is what we talked about kind of earlier is protecting key employees, funding buy-sell agreements, helping them retire despite how their business is performing, and so forth.
Very cool. Y'all both started 2 years. Y'all started at the same time. Did y'all both just say we're going to hold hands and jump in this thing together?
She started a little bit before me.
Gotcha.
And like I said, I was working a software job before this, and she was just doing really, really well. And I was like, that seems like a lot of fun. Let me go jump on that ship.
Well, y'all talked about this kind of before we got started, and y'all said that, you know, you're the numbers person, she's the dates and, she's the names and dates and those types of things. That helps whenever y'all are in business together, right? When you're partners. Our partners, we're not married, but we spend about as much time as you and your spouse do at this point. Right. But we all compliment each other in a similar way. Like, I'm the handsome, fun one. She's the numbers person. So it works out. So is that how kind of y'all balance the workload?
Yeah, she's the handsome, fun one.
She's the what?
She's the handsome.
Oh, yeah, I got you.
I like how we divided the room appropriately.
Yeah.
I actually like to live on both sides of the fence, which
Me
is not fun.
Handsome and fun over here.
You know?
Yeah, it's funny. I'll actually do most of like the outreach. So we do a lot of cold outreach, kind of going to events, meeting people, shaking hands. So I do a lot of the, I don't like to call it prospecting, but meeting people, socializing, connecting, and then he'll kind of run the meetings, do the numbers. And we have a team of consultants as well that work with us, and they're specialized in every area of the business. So if we have a niche problem that we don't have like specific details on, then we have a team to help us. And yeah, it's a whole team effort, and it's fun.
Very cool. So it sounds like we have a very similar ideal client, right? We're trying to find a business owner who's looking to grow, you know, and we have a spectrum of the age, right? 35, 55, 60-year-old person who's looking to grow their business at a young person, but as they've kind of reached that potential where they wanted to be and their goals of where they saw themselves whenever they were earlier in their career, when they get there, we help them pass on their business to their family members or the next generation or have an exit where they sell the business to somebody else. And so you listed a couple of different things that were important to consider, and we believe that those are things that are also important. One of them is protecting key employees.
Yeah.
You know, from a practical standpoint, when the business owner comes to us and says, I'm having this, and that problem, people are leaving and people are taking business or people are stealing or they're not living up to the values, there's friction within an organization. So we always talk about how we can help you solve the actual legal problem that you have, but we also can help you learn how to be a better leader. And that's probably going to solve some of these problems you're having.
Right,
exactly. So like the root problem. But, you know, also from the flip side of that too, like taking care of employees, making sure that they feel like they're working towards something beyond just a paycheck every day. You know, you mentioned the golden handcuff situation or other opportunities. So, and that sounds like stuff that y'all can help with, rewarding top employees and key employees.
Right.
Talk about that a little bit.
So to kind of go into detail is a lot of small businesses, they think they're too small for benefits, or they've gotten to a point where they're like, oh, I've been with this group for so long. They helped me grow to this point. I don't need to change. We're comfortable. So it's like kind of at both plateaus, at both ends of the spectrum. You're 10 employees to 100 plus employees. So how do you improve your benefits, beef up your rewards to capture talent, whether you're big or mid-sized, small or mid-sized? And so with the smaller, it's kind of like one of our examples. I worked with a sister and brother. They bought a business, had about 10 employees, and they had like the minimal benefits. They had people there for a long time, but it was like subpar workers or just whoever they could get. But you can't get rid of them because you don't have anyone else. And so it's like, okay, how do we incentivize people to come here despite you're in this growing stage? And so we were able to implement these voluntary benefits. So no cost to the business. It was whoever wanted to sign up could. You only needed two to start a plan, and they're permanent and their whole life. So it's not just term. I don't know if y'all know the difference between term and whole life, but term, it's the base amount. That's it. You pay for it. If you leave, quit, or retire, it's gone. So these, they were portable. They were permanent. They built over time. And now those employees are able to use those accounts for their kids' education, for any medical emergencies. And not just the employees, the owners were able to utilize it to get their own coverage up to where it needed to be because they were underinsured, which is another problem we see a lot. They don't know what the number is or needs to be. And so we kind of guide people through the process. Okay, what does it need to be? How can we beef up the benefits? And then for the larger companies, how do you get a second opinion even when you think you're comfortable? And it's like, you don't have to pay anybody. We're not going to tell you to switch anyways just because we want the deal. Like, we hate paperwork too. And it's like, so just getting that second opinion, it's a really easy process. 1 or 2 days, we send your information to the brokers, get it back, and then they get to decide from there.
So as an employer, you have the opportunity to offer these benefits that you might otherwise want to benefit from to your employees. And whenever you said you have to have at least 2 people on the plan, the employer can be one of those 2 people, right? So you're just taking advantage of something for yourself and then offering the same benefit to your employees if they want to take advantage of it. You know, we have we have how many?
31
employees right now. And, you know, on day one, we ripped the Band-Aid off and started doing a lot of benefits early on in the process because we believe similarly that if you want to attract good talent, you have to be able to compensate them. And the package doesn't necessarily look like dollars and cents that you put in your bank account every week necessarily. It can mean that plus the health insurance, the 401k, and, you know, all those other types of things that we try to offer people too that help keep talent, like you said. People see that you're benefiting them over time, and then we can take advantage of it as business owners as well.
Right.
So all that makes sense. And I think that
You can't be competitive in today's market
No.
for talent without having some benefit offered, right? I mean, we're already dealing with the YOLO challenge of life and everyone having these crazy expectations of employers, you know, to create a utopian environment that's also impossible. So it's a struggle as an entrepreneur, but benefits have to be there.
Well, they say that's
whether
like,
it's voluntary or mandatory.
well, they say that's like 30% of like the reason as to why either employee will pick you as someone that they want to work for or just stay in general is your benefits and your, I say packages for like 401ks and stuff like that. It's like, if that is solidified, they're like, oh, that's really nice. They have a match, they have healthcare, they have life insurance. It's like, oh, that makes me somebody I want to work for as opposed to just a base salary.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
not only that, we've had several people come to us that were making a higher base salary and be willing to take a step back to take an opportunity at a firm that they enjoyed working with.
Right.
So culture is a really, really big thing about
100%.
it. And how can you cultivate that culture into a positive direction to want people to make people want to stay?
Yeah. And people, they can feel the energy when they walk in the room when you have a good culture and they want to be a part of that and they're willing to take a step back from a pay standpoint, especially when you can offer all these other additional benefits, right? I mean, one of the things we talk a lot about at our firm is the fact that we don't track PTO, which is a benefit, in my opinion, to our employees. And so we tell them
Paid time off is 100% a benefit.
I would think so, yeah.
and we tell them like if you respect our system and you're willing to come and you get your work done and you meet your metrics, which is the most important reason why you're working it, right? We don't need people sitting here and not being productive. If you're productive, get your work done, and you need to go take a couple hours to go do something personal, you can do that. If you need to take a vacation, just let us know. We make sure your coverage is there, and you can do that. And so we don't nitpick people on their hours, and we don't restrict them on what they're going to do. And it's been 4 years and nobody's
Yeah.
taken advantage of.
Got a few people that we've thought about it, and it's like, do we need to adjust this? And our mindset is that if we have to change that, then we don't have the right people,
Right.
you know, because the
Exactly.
culture is there. So it's either they're not a value fit
Right.
or they are. You have the conversation on expectations, and it's fine. But if you create a business that has a good operating system, it manages itself.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
you don't need to put those restrictions. And gone are the days that that's how people wanted to go to work, right?
Right.
They want the stability and support, but they want the autonomy and the confidence that they can do their job as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely think being flexible workplace. I mean, that was one of the reasons why we were tempted to do what we do. Is
To
hey,
go-
you can do
We,
remote.
we have a sickness though. Like when you work when you work for yourself and you're in a business generating role, you're always working.
Well, that's
Uh-huh.
what's so
Right?
comical.
Yeah.
I mean, the number of people, real estate's like that too.
Right,
Any type
right.
of sales position, right? Because that's essentially what y'all are going to do is building relationships
Yeah.
and then using your talents and the tools that you're given to add value to them. But it's sales at the end of the day. And every person that's in it's like, oh, I chose this because, you know, I wanted to be able to choose when I work. And I was like, well, you know, that's 24
All the
hours,
time.
right?
Yeah.
Like, and so you talk to them a few years in until they find, you know, their balance, which is unique and
Right.
takes time to build. It's almost comical because those first years you work a hell of a lot more than if you had a 9 to 5.
Oh,
People
yeah.
have been looking at me funny when I like do some afternoon or evening event. They're like, "Well, what you gonna do?" I'm going back to work. I got more paperwork to do
That's
for the rest of the
Right.
day.
Right.
That's right. But I mean, at the same time, that illness is what makes you enjoy that, right? Because if there's a means to an end and you're helping somebody, usually that same type of person is fulfilled.
Right. They
Yeah.
talk about like the 6 human needs, and one of those is growth. And it's just like being able to identify that within yourself and in your clients. Or y'all kind of talk a lot about DISC. It's kind of the same thing, like being able to identify what matters to people. You know, some people I talk to, they're like, "Oh, I don't care about legacy. My kids are getting nothing." And then some people, that's everything. And so how do you build around that? How do you customize? And that's another thing I love is everything we do is custom. So every person we work with, the first meeting is just a review. We don't charge for planning because we don't think you should charge for talking to people and thinking through problems, of especially problems they probably didn't want to think about. And so all of our planning is free, but the first meeting is just getting to know you. Do our values line up? What are you interested in? What is the goal? What do you have? And then from there, that's when we can really start implementing and creating change.
Yeah. So we talked about employees, and you said another struggle that business owners can have, maybe you didn't say this, but I know that you know this, is that when you have several partners in an organization
Yes.
and you want to protect the others in the case something happens, right?
Yeah.
And so what is y'all's strategy and mindset around that when you have like key man policies and other buy-sell agreements that are in place for protecting the business in the case of something that does happen to a partner, either the 3 Ds, death, divorce, or disability? What is y'all's mindset on that?
So we offer, I guess you say, all of those in different plans. So we offer full disability, long-term and short-term for businesses. We do different life protection plans for buy-sell agreements. And we also try to take care of key employees in a lot of different ways, because a lot of key employees at the level of like higher level firms, they have tax deferred problems. So we also have like tax deferred solutions that can be very desirable for them to, hey, I know that you're at this income level and you need to be at this income level. So we have different solutions for them to be able to grow that almost in tax-free ways as well. So they feel like their key employees are properly taken care of and their needs are met.
Yeah.
But let's break down the buy
Yeah,
sell though, because I
that's what I was
think,
gonna
you
say.
know, a lot of business owners that I talk to, they have no idea, right? We talk about it a lot when we do the operating agreement. You know, the 3 Ds is what we refer to it as, that Jared mentioned. Anytime we do an operating agreement with a business, which is just the version of bylaws, but for an LLC, which is most
Right.
common, right? We want to talk about what happens when something goes wrong while everybody's happy.
Right.
And there's a lot of places that you can go download an operating agreement, print it and sign it, but they don't know how it operates. There's even attorneys out there that say, this is my standard operating agreement. And again, business owners don't know how it operates. We like to walk through, okay, shit hits the fan. How do you want this to work? And we actually sit down and plan it out. And when they find out that they can fund a policy that will buy out the heirs of a partner, it's like a light bulb goes off. Because
Yeah.
most small businesses, let's be honest, we can coach them all day long, advise them all day long, but they're not going to have enough capital to keep their 3 to 6 months of operating expenses,
Right.
plus have a nest egg to buy out a large portion of the business. Even 4 partners, that's 25%. You have to buy out 25%. And the number one thing that people fight about is control, right? And then value. And so from a control perspective, if I died today, Jason's not an attorney. So he can't step into Arena Collective and help the same way that I can. So even though he has a right for the value of what we're building, he can't step in and help. So he doesn't deserve to have control. So at that point, we like for the spouses to intervene, sign as an intervener, saying, I acknowledge these terms that say I become what we refer to as an assignee, meaning I can still get the value of the business without having any control of the business. Exactly. And then when it comes to what pertains to you all, which is the actual buyout value, they don't have the operating capital. So likely they need time to buy them out. But if you do have the capital now and you're doing well to fund a policy that could then be paid to the company to buy that person out, it's a beautiful thing. And you're agreeing to a set value. That's the other part is I like for people to agree in the event of a voluntary or involuntary buyout, what is the formula we want to use? Because what happens if you don't have that, which most operating agreements in the past did not, then you're going to pay someone for evaluation. I mean, everybody knows getting an appraisal on a house, right? They're subjective. It's the same way if you get a business valuation. It's a formula, but it's not black and white. And so you can get two of them, each pay for one, and it come back to a different valuation. So then you're fighting over experts, and that costs a lot of money when you go to court to do that. So we like to come together, agree upon a value, and then when you have that agreed upon value, you can pass it to someone like you and say, okay, we need a policy that's going to support this.
Right, absolutely. And so that's kind of what we were talking about before. That's the ideal situation. Is, hey, I talked to an attorney already, or I worked with one. This is what we decided upon. How do I make this reality? How do I fund this? How do I actually make this feasible? And a lot of the times people will forget about their families. So they'll get all the numbers for their business, buying out that portion, but then what does their family get? And it's like, how do you do both? How do you recognize, like, as an example, hypothetical, say you have two partners and, hey, I want $1 million to buy out this part. It'll help me pay off all the debts. It'll help me continue to run the business. But then the wife is like, well, I need $500K. It's like, okay, well, here's your $500K. Well, now you're in the hole. Now you're stuck. So how do you plan for 1.5? Like, actually going through the steps. Okay, how did you get to this number? Why are we doing this? Was there something we missed personally outside of the business? And so, like, how do you care for a business owner as a person when all they're thinking about is their business?
Right.
So, yeah.
I feel like
Help
part of
them
this
as a resource,
is educational, right? For a lot of the small businesses too, it's just like a small ignorance because they're so focused on this is my business, this is how I grow it, this is steps 1, 2, and 3, this is what I have to do every week, and it's like some of the financial plannings or the exit strategies is almost not even thought of because they're so busy, and they should be. That's what they have to do their business. But it's kind of what we're trying to bring awareness to is like that's what you can call us for, and we can help you guide you through that.
So
and there's a lot of transitioning happening right now.
For
so
sure.
people are seeing it.
And as a guide, and as an expert and professional, what y'all do, how often do you recommend your business clients meet with you to reevaluate where they're at? Because I mean, on day one, you might say that this is what you need as a insurance policy, or then that might change over time.
So
Absolutely.
I don't want this to sound like a cop out, but it kind of depends. So we kind of have
Sound
like
like a lawyer, not a cop out.
So some people want to get together more often. I have some people who like say quarterly. That is what they need. Like they say, okay, I have certain investments with you. I have certain policies with you. I want to see how they're doing every quarter. Some people it's like, oh, well, because of my schedule, yearly. We recommend at least twice a year. Quarterly is fine, but it depends for the person and what their needs are and what we've done for them. Like I said, if we've just done some basic policies that usually don't need too much attention, yearly is fine. But if we're a little bit more involved, we're handling like the investments of the policies, we're doing key employee benefits and all that.
I like life and disability.
Yeah, life and disability is usually, like I said, we'll review it every year. We'll come in.
So
And it's depending, like
changes.
some companies also like education too. It's like, hey, can you come once a year or twice a year and give like a presentation?
For the employees, gotcha. Okay, very cool.
It has to be annually, at least.
It does have
what
to be
I
at least
like to tell
annually.
business owners is if you're submitting financials, so I do quarterly reviews of all of our financials with all of you, then I would do quarterly reviews with the advisor. If you're doing it on your annual basis and you're paying your taxes and that's when you're finalizing your financials, submit them. but they need to have them at all given points if you want the full protection. Because to Gabriela's point, what she was saying is like operating capital is different and your cash flow is going to be different than the valuation of your business. And that goes to understanding what you give to the business as well. Because another hard thing for small business owners is truly accepting that everyone's replaceable. Because everyone is, right? I mean, values by all means, and you value every single person that walks in the door and they're contributing to an extent. But if they're not replaceable, you don't have a business, right? And so everyone should be replaceable, but to what extent and what does that look like? Some people, it will take longer to replace them, and your business may decline while you're waiting to replace them, right? And so you have to prepare for that cushion as well. Do y'all have those conversations with them?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think number one, even when meeting with individuals, everyone wants to talk about investments. They want to talk about retirement.
They
And
love
it's like,
investments.
okay, well, what about in 6 months if you got laid off, if something happened and you had to close your business? Like,
What happens
what
if
do
you
you
just
do?
can't go to work? What happens if you
Right.
just get sick in the hospital for 2 months? Like, what happens
Right.
then? Investments is a very sought out conversation on our field because it sounds cool, right? Like, oh, you can put me in these brokerage accounts and these mutual funds and I can make a whole bunch of money and do this. It's like, well, that's possible. I mean, the market goes up and down. I can't promise you anything there, but it's a fun conversation to have, especially for people who watch the charts. And I can't say anything as I watch the charts, But there's other parts of the conversation that take a little bit more responsibility almost for both individuals and businesses to where it might not be as quote unquote, I guess you can say flashy, but it's, in our opinion, the more important conversation to have.
Yeah, our motto at New York Life is protection first. So, like, we have number one market share for insurance. We're the highest payout for retirement plans, for disability. They actually just lifted the payout so you can increase how much income you can replace with disability. But it's just like, hey, like you said, it's not the fun conversation, but like on your best day and on your worst day, do you know with 100% certainty you're going to be okay? And your lifestyle is not going to change. You don't have to take your kids out of sports. You don't have to sell your house. You don't have to liquidate the business. Like, it's going to be okay.
Yeah. You asked me that question?
You're good.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna be okay.
We're good.
Well, very cool. I think it's impressive that y'all are young people.
Yeah.
I'll call you young people because I feel like I'm getting out of that category, even though I still feel like I am.
I can't wait.
Yeah,
Can't wait till you're 40.
37.
Can't wait to give you a bunch of crap.
So the other day, this kid reached out to me and he was like, "Hey, I'm looking for a young real estate agent to join my group." And I was thinking, I almost said to him, well, "I'd love to be a part of the group too," but I realized that I was not the age group that he was looking for anymore. It was like the first time I really realized that I'm no longer a young professional. That's sad too.
You're still in there. You're still in there.
Yep. He's definitely still in there. My this thing tells me that I'm 34 and a half years old metabolically. So like, I can go back. I can. Which one do I want to be today?
If you
Are
buy
you
the
really
positivity
lying?
watch, it is going to tell you
Yeah,
that.
for sure. For sure. Well, anyway, look, it was really cool talking to you guys. Think
Yeah.
y'all are really impressive. And
Yeah.
I look forward to seeing you guys grow and servicing
Yep.
our ideal client going forward. So
Yeah, and if you don't mind, if any business owners or other attorneys are listening, we do 30, 45-minute reviews, kind of what we talked about today. Hey, see where you're at, where can you be? No commitments to anything. And then for the attorneys watching, if you have business owner clients that you want to do the review with, we'd be more than happy to do the workshop with you, do case studies, bring the numbers, and kind of be a value add to your clients.
very cool.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Thank y'all.
Thanks for
you.
coming.